structure is to a piece of writing what packaging is to a great product. Very often we focus more on the content while leaving the layout secondary, whereas it's in the format that makes for that formidable first impression. So today, let's have a look at the structure of an opinion essay, primarily from the viewpoint of the IELTS. Other learners, however, needn't feel left out, as the video discusses the universally applicable structure and principles behind good essay writing. So with that in mind, let's amp those writing skills. Alright, so let's begin with the first paragraph, which of course is the introduction. Now the introduction comprises three elements. You have the broad statement, the thesis statement, and the opinion. We begin with the broad statement. What is the broad statement? It is a very general statement on the theme or the crux or the essence of the topic, which is why it's crucial to get the broad statement right, because it's responsible for setting the tone of the entire essay. So let's just go ahead and check out an example coming up on your screen right about now. Let's go down to the third line, the one in bold. Now the topic is fast food companies should not be allowed to give away free toys with their food. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now let's analyze the theme behind the topic. You need to ask yourself that why do fast food companies give away free toys with their food in the first place? And you would have that answer as product promotion or sales promotion, especially with the younger audiences in mind. So that gives you fast food promotion as the theme behind the essay. Now that we have our theme, we're going to formulate the broad statement around that very theme. Let's have a look at some possible broad statements here. Now with the theme as fast food promotion, we have 4 suggestions here for the broad statement, out of which you may choose any one for your essay. Let's have a look at the first one, which is fast food companies employ myriad schemes of fast food promotion, gifting with a free toy being one of them. Let's have a look at the second one. We have the giving away of free toys along with a meal is one of the various promotion strategies resorted to by fast food companies. Coming to the third one, we have the bundling of a free toy along with a meal is a common promotion strategy adopted by fast food companies. And finally, we have it is commonplace to witness the inclusion of a free toy along with the fast food meal as a promotion policy to appeal to the youngest customers. Which brings me to the properties of a good broad statement, which are as follows. So a good broad statement is one that captures the theme effectively, does not sound like an opinion, and mentions the situation as is in the real world, in the present times, or the context. Now let's have a look at those broad statements once again, this time inclusive of opinions. We have the first one as fast food companies employ myriad schemes of fast food promotion, gifting with a free toy being one of them. This should be disallowed. Now you need to be wary of the modal verb should, as the mere ring of it expresses opinion. We come to the second one. The giving away of free toys along with a meal is one of the various promotion strategies resorted to by fast food companies. This is and should be done to foster a win-win experience. Now, although a positive statement, nonetheless an opinion, and hence stricken off. Coming to the third one, the bundling of a free toy along with a meal is a common promotion strategy adopted by fast food companies and is seen as one furthering bad health. Now it is the truth, however, in the tradition of an opinion, ergo removed as part of the broad statement. We come to the final statement, which is it is commonplace to witness the inclusion of a free toy along with a fast food meal as a promotion policy in order to cajole children into consuming more. Now, the part with the cajole here, which is to persuade, once again smelling suspiciously of an opinion, hence done away with. So you need to be very cautious keeping all the opinions at bay when it comes to the broad statement. And now, before proceeding ahead to the thesis statement, a very quick look at one more example for the broad statement. So this time we have our topic as many lesser known languages are disappearing. Young people should be forced to learn these languages so they are not lost forever. Now, in analyzing this topic, we find the theme to be preservation of obscure or lesser known languages. And why their preservation? Because languages signify culture. Let's have a look at some suggested broad statements here. We've got the first one as languages are an intimate reflection of a community's culture. Going to the second one, the youth carry forth the baton of lingual heritage as native tongue is passed from one generation to another. And the final one being, the impetus of society's progress often causes certain cultural elements to be left behind, language being one of them. Now, in case you're feeling these sound like opinions, they're not. In fact, the statements simply reflect the truth of the situation in the society as is. So hopefully you have a firm grasp of the broad statement by now, and now on to the thesis statement. And now we arrive at the thesis statement. Now, what is the thesis statement? The thesis statement, quite simply, is your understanding of the topic in your own words. Essentially, it's just a rephrasing of the main statement of the topic, once again using your own words. So let's just get right to an example and have a look at some suggestions for the thesis statement for the topic under discussion. So let's have a look at the main statement once again, which is to be rephrased into the thesis statement. We have, fast food companies should not be allowed to give away free toys with their food. Let's have a look at the possible thesis statements here. The first example is, it is presented for discussion that fast food companies ought to be disallowed from presenting with a free toy along with their food. Let's have a look at another example, which is, it is suggested that the gifting of a free toy along with meals by fast food companies is a practice that needs to be done away with. So if you compare these two thesis statements with the main statement in bold at the top, you will realize that it is essentially a rephrasing of the main statement. Two techniques of rephrasing are at work here, the first one being the use of synonyms. As you can see, the expression should gets replaced by ought to and needs be. Not be allowed is replaced by disallowed and done away with. The word give is substituted by present with and gift, and finally the word food is replaced by the word meals. And the second technique is the change from active to passive voice, which is evident in the second thesis statement, where free toys assume the position of the subject while fast food companies are assigned as the object. So out of these two suggested thesis statements, you may choose any one for your essay. Alright, so now that we're through with the thesis statement, let's have a look at the opinion, which comprises the last statement of your introductory passage. Let's have a look. Alright, so the first example is, as the inclusion of a free toy only lures younger customers into consuming additional portions of calorific fast food, it is therefore legitimate that such a practice be stopped. You can also make your opinion sound a bit more personal with the inclusion of expressions such as in my perspective, as per my viewpoint, and so on. So you have the second example as, in my perspective, to secure child health against the inimical effects of excessive fast food consumption, the giving away of free toys must be checked, or rather discontinued entirely. Alright, so now that we have the broad statement, the thesis statement, as well as the opinion, let's see what that introduction looks like. You have the broad statement color-coded as blue, which is immediately followed by the thesis statement in red, which is finally layered upon by the opinion in black. So in a 250 to 300 words essay, your introduction should clock a minimum of 50 words to a maximum of 70. Alright, so the first step is the hardest to take. Luckily, we are through with that. Let's now move further to body paragraph 1. Alright, so we begin with body paragraph 1, which comprises 3 elements. As you can see over here, we've got main idea 1, followed by the supporting idea, eventually followed by the example. Let's begin with main idea 1. Now, what is main idea 1? It is the first statement in support of your main opinion. In other words, main idea 1 is the first why behind the way you feel about the topic. Let's have a look at an example here. So when framing the main idea, the main opinion must always be fresh in the memory. Let's just recover that. So our main opinion was, as the inclusion of a free toy only lures younger customers into consuming additional portions of calorific fast food, it is therefore legitimate that such a practice be stopped. Now, I'd like to point out here that while I've chosen to support the topic, you are at absolute liberty to even go against it. Coming on to the main idea 1, which is essentially the why behind my main opinion, and that is, toy promotions have powerful influence on what kids want to eat. Now, this justifies my main opinion. Please note that the main idea is always one crisp statement. Do not include conjunctions such as because within the main idea and begin explaining it. Explanation of the main idea is the domain of the supporting idea. Now, the statement immediately following the main idea is the supporting idea, which, as already discussed, is an extended explanation of the main idea. Let's read that out. So we have the supporting idea as enticed by the free toy, children increasingly substitute fast food over regular, healthy meals, leading to grave ailments such as childhood obesity, coupled with deficiency of essential minerals and vitamins at an early age. And this explains main idea 1. So if you look at it from top to bottom, you will discern a 3-tier structure, which is that the opinion is explained by main idea and the main idea in turn is explained by the supporting idea. And this brings us to the example. Let's have a look once again. So the example reads, the global fast food giant McDonald's pioneered in the arena of toy-driven promotion, making children early collectors and consumers. Not surprisingly, the move gave rise to a generation of addicted children with outraged parents. So putting it all together, your body paragraph 1 should end up looking something like this. For convenience, you have main idea 1 color-coded blue, followed by the supporting idea in red and the pertinent example in black. Surely you realize now how simple it is to construct a body paragraph. Now, usually candidates go ahead and muddle themselves up in the exam by trying to include as many main ideas as possible in one body paragraph. Now, while that earns no extra credit, all that does is takes away that precious time and the coherence of the essay. So please make sure that while in the exam situation, you only go ahead and use one main idea per body paragraph. And with this, let's go ahead and move to body paragraph 2. So the structure of body paragraph 2 is an exact replica of body paragraph 1. You've got main idea 2, which this time is the second reason in support of the main opinion, followed by the supporting idea, and once again followed by the example. Let's just go ahead and have a look at a solution for body paragraph 2. So I'm sure you have the main opinion fresh in your memory. We begin with main idea 2, which is the second why behind the main opinion, and it reads, collectible toys engender vanity in children and espouse unhealthy competition. Let's have a look at the explanation of that, which is the supporting idea. Such marketing campaigns play upon the naiveness of young children who start engaging in contests to collect more of these free toys with their health left to bleed. An example for this is, children are very quick to hanker their parents for visits to fast food outlets on being agitated by the grander toy collections of their peers. And with that, we come to the end of body paragraph 2, and now on to the concession paragraph. Alright, so let's begin with the concession paragraph now. Now, what is the concession paragraph? It is, as you say, the other side of the coin. Now, in the concession paragraph, we discuss the side which is opposite to the main opinion as we've expressed in the introduction. Now, in this case, in this particular example, we are saying that fast food is bad and so are the toys that come along with it. In the concession paragraph, however, for a moment, we're going to provide that concession. We're going to, for a moment, think that, hey, perhaps there's some good coming out of them. Now, before proceeding to the example, let's first consider the structure of a concession paragraph. Now, since we're going to digress from the opinion that we've held so far, we're going to begin this paragraph with a contrasting linking expression such as however, nonetheless, and so on. You're going to follow that contrasting expression with your contrasting point, which is the point opposing the main opinion as presented over here. After that, if you wish to explain that further, you can go ahead and do that with the help of a supporting idea, followed by the example, and eventually followed by a very important device, which is once again using the contrasting expression and returning to your main opinion as expressed once again in the introduction. I believe it will be best exemplified with the help of a live example. Let's go to that. So we have two examples for the concession paragraph over here. You may choose any one. The first one reads, admittedly, toys do stimulate children's minds with their colors and moving parts. However, a remote means of education as this needn't come at the price of all-important health. The second example for the concession paragraph reads, on the other hand, under the allure of free toys, children do end up consuming vegetables along with tempting fast food, which is one food they usually resent. However, fast food should not become the staple source of vegetable consumption. So you see all the features of a concession paragraph in there. We began with the contrasting expressions admittedly and on the other hand. Then we provided a little explanation, and then with the introduction of the contrasting expression however, we retreated to our main opinion, which was that free toys with fast food are bad, all things considered. At this point, I must mention that the concession paragraph is an optional device. It is, however, a very handy input when you feel that you're falling short of the optimal word limit. So that was about the concession paragraph, and now on to the all-important conclusion. So the conclusion is the final taste that you leave behind in the reader's mind. Hence, it's very important that you make it crisp and inclusive of all the main details as discussed in the essay. Let's have a look at the structure of the conclusion. So you're going to begin your conclusion with a restatement of the broad statement, which is the first line that you began your essay with. However, in this case, you're going to have that rephrased once again. That is going to be followed by a summary of the main ideas, by which I wish to imply the key words as included in main idea 1 and main idea 2. You're going to wrap that up with a restatement of the main opinion, which was the final statement in your introductory passage. Let's have a look at an example to understand that better. Now, to jog your memory, we have the broad statement and opinion mentioned once again. So the conclusion reads, to sum it up, free toys form an effective element in the host of promotion strategies employed by fast food companies. Toy promotions, however, cajole children into consuming unhealthy calorific foods, while at the same time making them addicted collectors. For reasons as such, I strongly side with the complete discontinuation of the practice. Now, the part in blue is the rephrasing of the broad statement along with the summation of the main points, and final statement in red is a quick and crisp rephrasing of the opinion as mentioned in the introduction. Everything put together, this is what your opinion essay should look like. Alright, so now a final word on the word count strategy. Now, if you are attempting a 250 to 300 word long essay, this is what your word count strategy should look like. So you've got your minimum word count, which should be in the ranges of 250 to 270 words. On the other hand, your maximum word count should hover around the ranges of, say, around 290 to 300 words. Now, if you wish to pursue a 4-paragraph essay strategy, that is to say that you do not wish to include the concession paragraph, your paragraph split looks like this. You've got 50 words for the introduction, followed by 75 each for the body paragraphs, and followed by a comfortable 50-word conclusion, getting you up to 250. You can have a margin of 30 more words up there, getting you to a comfortable 280. On the other hand, if you do wish to include the concession paragraph, that is to say that you are pursuing a 5-paragraph essay strategy, you've got your paragraph split as follows. You've got 50 words for that introduction, you've got 60 each for the body paragraphs, followed by a 70-word concession paragraph, and eventually winding up with a 50-word conclusion once again, getting you to an easy 290. And that's all about the word count strategy. And with that, we come to the end of this little writing skills presentation also. This was an opinion essay. I hope you found this useful. If you have, please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back soon with more useful stuff. Until then, keep watching, keep supporting. Thank you very much.